What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Bit of Footy YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be running through my round 3 tips for the 2024 AFL Premiership season. Last round, in round 2, I got a total of 4 out of 8 tips last round. So I didn't do too bad, but I didn't do too good either. We made it into the middle ground. We got half the tips correct. These are the tips that I got correct from last round. As you can see, I got the Melbourne tip correct, I got the Sydney tip correct, I got the Port Adelaide tip correct, and I got the GWS Giants tip correct from last round. At the moment, I'm currently last in my own competition. In first spot, we have someone called Go Pies 2024, who got a total of 7 out of 8 tips last round and is on a total of 16 points. So big up to Go Pies 2024. But without further ado, let's get into my tips for round 3 of the 2024 AFL Premiership season. First up, we've got the Easter Thursday clash between the Lions and My Pies at the Gabba. My Pies are coming off a loss against the Saints, whereas the Lions, well, they're coming off a bye, but the last game that they played, they are also coming off a loss, which was to the hands of the Fremantle Dockers. I do reckon this is going to be a very interesting game. I'm really hoping that it is. But it is at the Gabba. It is, it has the Lions coming off a bye as well this game. And My Pies, they're in a bit of a slump right now. They're not in the greatest of form at the moment. Hopefully we can switch that. I've really got faith that we hopefully can. I'm praying that we can. But yeah, like I said before, it's at the Gabba. The Lions are coming off a bye, so they're a bit fresher than us. So yeah, I'm going to be tipping the Lions to get the job done in this game at the Gabba. But, I do have faith. I am praying that My Pies can get the win in this game. I'm really hoping so we can get on the winners list and, get some momentum going in our season. But yeah, I will be tipping-wise, be backing in the Lions for this game. But, I've got faith in My Pies. Please, Pies, can we please maybe get a win in this game? But yeah, tipping-wise, I'm tipping the Lions in this game. Next up, we've got the first of 2 Good Friday games. This one, the first one is between North Melbourne and Carlton at Marvel Stadium. North Melbourne are coming off that loss against the Dockers. Well, the Blues, they're coming off a bye, but the last game they played in was a win over the Tigers. Yeah, I do think this game could turn out to be a very, decent contest, because North Melbourne, even though they lost against the Dockers last round, they actually played pretty decently for, a decent period of that game, and they showed that, they're progressing, they're getting better. But the Blues, they've started off the season 2-0. They're coming into this game off a bye as well. So I will be backing in Carlton to get the job done in this game over North Melbourne. And the second Good Friday game we have here is at Optus Stadium. It is between, the red hot Freo Dockers at the moment and Adelaide, who have started the season 0-2. The Dockers are coming off a win over North Melbourne, while the Crows are coming off a loss against the Cats. I reckon this could turn out to be a very, very juicy and good contest, this one. The Dockers, they're on a bit of a roll at the moment, but, the Crows, if they can, they've got a pretty dangerous forward line, so depending on how many entries that they get into the forward 50, you never know. It could be the Crows getting the win in this one, but I am going to be backing in the Dockers to get the job done in this game in front of their home fans and start the season 3-0. They've been out in both games. Even against Brisbane, they looked out of that game. The Lions had control of that game. But the Dockers came back and found a way to get the win over the Lions. And the Dockers, they did the same thing last round as well. They looked out of that game. North Melbourne was sort of all over them. The Kangaroos had a 30-point lead at one stage. And then the Dockers, they revved up and kicked 9 goals in a row. If that happens this game, I don't know. Will the Dockers be able to come back if the Crows get a bit of a margin going? Who knows? But they've shown it so far. You can't count them out. But yeah, I'm going to be backing in the Dockers in front of their home fans to get the job done over Adelaide in this one. Next up, we've got the first Saturday game. It is between Essendon and St Kilda at Marvel Stadium, 4:20 p.m. start time. Essendon are coming off that loss against the Swans, while the Saints are coming off that win against my Pies, sadly. This should be a very entertaining game. You know, the Bombers, even though they lost last round, they were very competitive. But you know, the Saints, they played very good against my Pies last round. I can't even take that away from them. Their pressure was insane. Their forward line, you know, was really clicking in that game as well. And even when we challenged them, they fought back and they got the job done in the end over my Pies, sadly. But yeah, I can't even take that away from the Saints. They played very well. They played exceptional last round against my Pies. So yeah, I do think St Kilda should get the job done in this game, but it is at Marvel Stadium, a ground where the Bombers tend to play some decent footy at. So the Saints got to be careful with that one, but with the way that they played last round, and you know, even with the way that they played in round one, they played very exceptional against the Cats at the Cattery. So yeah, I will be backing in St Kilda to get the job done in this game. And next up, we've got, well, the last Saturday game. This one is between Port Adelaide and Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval. God, this is a tough one to tip. Port Adelaide, they've started the season 2-0. They beat Richmond last round. And Melbourne, you know, they're sort of cooking a little bit now. I know they only played Hawthorn last round, but you can only play who's in front of you. And they got the job done over the Hawks to now be 2-1 in the season. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting game. Both teams have very dangerous forward line players. God, this is a tough one to tip. I can really see Melbourne getting the job done. You know, they've sort of, you know, clicked into gear now, the Ds. So it's not going to be an easy game for Port Adelaide. But, you know, it's at home for the Power. So I'm going to tip them to get the job done in this game. But, you know, the Power, they have been, you know, scored heavily against that. I wouldn't say heavily against West Coast, but they did, you know, concede 70 against West Coast. And they also conceded 92 against Richmond, which is, you know, pretty crazy to think about. Yeah, that game was at the MCG, to be fair, Richmond's home ground. But yeah, if that happens in this game, if the D's can get a bit of a roll on, that could be a little bit of a worry for the Power, only because Melbourne's defence is very solid. But yeah, I'm still going to be tipping Port Adelaide in this game to get the job done in front of their home fans. Next up, we've got the only Sunday game. This one is between the Dogs and the Eagles. The Dogs are coming off that inspiring win over the Suns at Mars Stadium in Ballarat, where the Eagles are coming off that loss against the Giants. I'm going to be backing in the Dogs to get the job done in this game. Hopefully the Eagles can make this game somewhat competitive. You know, they showed glimpses last round that they can be competitive in games if they want to be, but you know, they just have to be consistently competitive throughout every quarter and, you know, find a way to get scores on board. But yeah, the Dogs, they played some very good footy last round. They got 55 by quarter time last round against the Suns. So yeah, I'm going to be backing in the Dogs to get the job done over the Eagles in this game. Oh, sorry. No, there's actually another Sunday game. I'm just a complete idiot. The next Sunday game, and the last Sunday game, is between Richmond and Sydney. The Tigers are coming off that loss against Port Adelaide, while the Swans are coming off a win against the Bombers, which sees them start the season 3-0, and they're looking very good at the moment, the Swannies. So I will be backing them in this game to beat the Tigers at the MCG. It should be a very good contest, this game. You know, it being at the MCG, where the Tigers tend to play good footy because, you know, it is their home ground. But yeah, the Swans are on fire at the moment. They've started the season 3-0. Their youngsters are really firing. You know, Warner, Goulding, And now Heaney's getting in on the act as well. He's playing some very good footy as well. So yeah, I'm going to be backing in the Swans to get the job done in this game over the Tigers. And the last game of the round is obviously the traditional Easter Monday clash between Hawthorn and Geelong. Hawthorn are coming off that loss against the D's, while the Cats are coming off that win against the Crows at the Adelaide Oval. So yeah, I'm going to be tipping the Cats in this game to get the job done over the Hawks in this game. The Cats are playing some very decent footy. Obviously, we all know the Hawks are in a bit of a rebuilding stage at the moment, and they're just progressing to get better at the moment. I do reckon, the Hawks will make it a very entertaining game. I reckon they'll somehow make it a close game in this one, with the sort of speed that they have. It could, cause some problems for the Cats. But yeah, the Cats, they're playing some decent footy at the moment. They beat the Crows at the Adelaide Oval last round, so they're going to come into this game with a bit of confidence behind them. So yeah, I'm going to be backing in the Cats to beat the Hawks in this one. But yeah, those are all my tips done and dusted for this round. So hopefully you guys really enjoyed this video. And yeah, I will be streaming the Lions Pies game on the Thursday night. So hopefully you guys can join me for that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in another stream very soon and another video hopefully very soon as well. Cheers, guys.